Welcome to Lights Camera Location with me, Ash. Thanks for stopping by. This episode, we're looking at the 1971 gangster film Get Carter starring Michael Caine. We're going to be exploring some of the locations in the northeast of England, including the beach and Newcastle city centre. So come with us as we check out the locations from the movie Get Carter.
Get Carter was released in 1971 and starred the fantastic Michael Caine in the title role as Jack Carter. The tale of a notorious London gangster that arrives in Newcastle to avenge his brother's death, leaving behind a trail of blood and violence in his path. Since its release, the film has become one of the most loved British gangster movies ever made, sporting a remake in 2000 with Sylvester Stallone and becoming a true piece of British cinema history. The film is well known for putting Newcastle on the map, and showcases many exciting city locations around Newcastle and Gateshead that can still be visited to this day. We are going to check out several of these locations in this video. Arriving at Newcastle by train, just like Jack Carter, we arrive at Newcastle Central Station. This station was used to film Jack's arrival in Newcastle before he proceeds over the road to one of the local pubs to order a pint of bitter in a thin glass. In the movie, Michael Caine walks over this very road to this area right here where the building used to stand. Sadly, the building where the pub featured was torn down in the 70s to make way for a leisure complex. This is what remains here today. It is, however, this area where Jack Carter walks at the start of the film. Now there is some debate on which bar he actually walks into. The Victoria Comet, which sits directly opposite the station today, would have you believe that it is there that he walks into. That is, however, not the case, as he makes a right turn, as we see in the film, over the main road of Neville Street. The original Victoria Comet, prior to the restored pub we have now, had its interior used for several scenes later in the film, after the funeral, and later when Jack goes for a drink and we see a girl singing. This is supposed to be inside the Half Moon Inn, but it's actually the original Victoria Comet. The real Half Moon Inn is actually over in the Big Market and is now a pop world, as we can see here. Now I would take you over to see the area where Jack's brother lived, in the West End. However, all the houses that were there have been completely flattened. There were, however, some very famous shots of Michael Caine taken in this area. The next location Jack Carter spends a lot of his time in the movie is the Las Vegas Guesthouse, located over in Gateshead on Coburg Street. Just behind me is the house that was used in the movie Get Carter. This is where he spends most of his time. He stays here and he gets himself into quite a bit of bother, but he manages to survive in the end. But this is the very street where the film was shot. The street is featured in many scenes, including the scene where Jack is asked to leave Newcastle and given a train ticket. He refuses, at which point he attacks the car and they drive off with one of the men hanging out the car. He runs down this very street in the middle of the night. We see him walk down the street several times during the night, including when he returns to see the landlady who he ends up spending the night with. We see the marching band walk down this very street the next day before two men turn up to the house to ruin Jack's morning. Back in Newcastle, a street used for a scene where Jack gives his niece some money was the rear of what is now called the Gunner Tavern, the alleyway on Pink Lane. This spot was where the scene was shot. It was this window that he knocks on to get the girl's attention. Another spot in Newcastle, used as part of one of the chase sequences, is the famous Oxford Galleries dance hall. During the 90s, this was a vibrant nightclub. Part of the building and the front are still standing today, but sadly it's just student accommodation now. No longer the vibrant venue that it once was. Later in the movie, Jack can be seen in conversation with a woman on a bridge asking about the mysterious surroundings of his brother's death. That scene was shot right here on the high-level bridge in Newcastle. After questioning the girl, he is ambushed by two men in a car who chase after him. In this spot right here. He runs down the quayside steps where he is picked up by his fairy godmother and taken over to Gateshead, where the former multi-storey car park once stood. Sadly, this car park was demolished in 2010, making way for the newly built Gateshead Trinity Square complex. Not much remains, but there is a small nod to the film in the form of the Get Carter's traditional family butchers that stands close to where the turnoff into the car park once stood. Well, unfortunately the original Get Carter car park is long gone. This is all that remains. This is Trinity Square car park behind me and Trinity Square above us. It's a shame really, but what can you do? A piece of film history is lost forever, but the movie will never be forgotten. There are a number of scenes in the movie where many of Newcastle's bridges on the quayside can be seen, including the Swing Bridge, which still stands to this very day. The post office that Jack can be seen at in the later part of the movie can be found in Peel or Gateshead, but it is now a Greg's Bakery. The climax in the movie takes place on the coast and was shot at the nearby Blackhall Colliery beach in between Blackhall Colliery and Horden Beach, just down from the Sea and Blast Beach, which also was used in the movie Alien 3. The climax of the film sees Jack finally take revenge for his brother's death.
Goodbye, Eric!
Taking the life of his killer and then dumping his body in one of the coal deposit carriages out in the sea. Just when we think it's a happy ending to the movie, Jack is shot. The coastal area that hosted the former colliery can still be visited to this very day, and although the collieries are long since shut down, the beaches have been cleaned up and offer fantastic views of the sea and the surrounding coast. If you've yet to experience Get Carter, then make sure you check out what is without a doubt a timeless classic and a fantastic showcase of the northeast of England. Thanks for tuning in to Lights Camera Location with me, Ash. To stay up to date with all the latest videos, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at Lights Camera Location Videos and over on Facebook at Lights Camera Location. Thanks for stopping by.